Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from. Osinachi Nwachukwu is also responsible for her death, too. Osinachi Nwachukwu, a Nigerian gospel artist, is responsible for her death because her husband told her that if she didn't go back to her parents' house in life, she will go back to her parents' house in death. Osinachi Nwachukwu had left her husband's house for 1 year and 3 months because of domestic violence she gets from her husband. When Osinachi Nwachukwu was in her parents' house for 1 year and 3 months, she later decided to go back to her husband's house. Osinachi's mother advised her not to go back to her husband's house, that she can marry another husband. Osinachi said that she will not marry another husband, that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder, that she will go back to her husband's house. Osinachi's mother reminded her what her husband said, that if she did not come back to her parents' house in life, that she will come back to her parents' house in death. She didn't listen to her mother's advice on not to return to her husband's house. So when Peter Nwachukwu came to Osinachi's parents' house, Osinachi decided to go back with him, and the domestic violence continued from where it stopped, that it eventually led to her death. So this leads to the conclusion that Osinachi Nwachukwu is responsible for her death because she decided to stay in her husband's house and receive domestic violence even when her mother advised her not to go back to her husband's house. She didn't listen to her mother's advice. Moreover, she is an adult and chose what happened to her, even when she has all the freedom of movement, freedom to live, freedom to be alive. She would have sneaked out of the marriage. She stayed and received the final outcome, that is death. The husband has to face the consequences of his actions too. Had it been that she didn't return to her husband's house after the first time she left because of domestic violence, had it been she remembered God's commandment that said that, obey your parents so that your days will be long, had it been she listened to her mother's advice on not to return to her husband's house, it wouldn't have ended up like this. She would have run out of her husband's house for her dear life, but she stayed to her death. Even when her husband encouraged her children to join him to beat her, she continued to stay in the marriage, receiving torture from both her husband and children. She would have sneaked out one day for her dear life, but she continued to stay till her death. Had it been that when she left her husband's house in the first place because of domestic violence and did not return back to her husband, she may not have ended like this. In conclusion, in any place you are facing domestic violence or abuse, both verbal or physical abuse, leave that place immediately. People will talk negative things about you because you left the place you are being abused. Don't mind them, provided you have peace of mind with the decision you took to leave the place.